Mr. Brocklehurst's departure from Gateshead took place almost immediately after that conference. Our rooms in the West Green were restored to order, and I returned to my old place. But though no other demonstration of my disgrace occurred, I was made to feel that I was ever after the subject of my aunt's dissatisfaction. I remember that upon that morning, the weather was dreary and overcast, the sky heavy with low and dark clouds. My guardian drove away in his carriage, the horses stepping briskly on the gravel, and I felt a faint thrill of... what? Gratitude, freedom, or fear? The household was silent. Mrs. Reed had not even spoken to me. Bessie and the servants glanced at me without meeting my eyes. In the afternoon, Bessie found me in the nursery, where I had crept away to sit alone beside the fire with my doll in my arms. She told me I was to go away to school and that I should be sent in a few days. I looked up at her with a sort of blank fear. "Is it a good school?" I asked. "Far better than you deserve," she said. "And you're not to speak to Mrs. Reed again. She says she has done with you." I turned away and looked at the fire. I was not sorry to leave Gateshead and never see the family again. In truth, I had little love for them. In the course of the next day or two, I received notice that I was to be ready to leave in a week. I began to pack my small belongings, helped by Bessie, who had now grown somewhat kinder as my departure approached. "You'll like Lowood, I dare to say," she observed. "It's a long way off, and you'll have to travel alone, but once you're there, you'll be among girls like yourself. Orphans, most of them." I didn't quite know whether that was meant as comfort or warning, but I nodded silently. There was a strange numbness in me, a quiet acceptance. On the morning of my departure, a coach was ordered early. It was still dark when I was called, dressed quickly, and taken downstairs, where Bessie gave me a small parcel of seed cake and some dried fruit. She kissed me, somewhat to my surprise, and even let fall a tear or two, saying, "Well, Jane, I suppose you'll forget me when you're among new friends, but I shall always remember you." I made no reply, but clung to her for a moment. Then the door opened, and a man entered, a porter engaged to accompany me to Lowood. He shouldered my trunk, and I followed him out into the cold, dim morning. The journey was long and quiet. I sat in silence, watching the landscape blur past in the foggy window, my thoughts a mixture of apprehension and a strange sense of beginning. As evening approached, we reached a town, and from there another carriage took me to Lowood. I arrived weary and chilled, my feet numb from the cold, and my heart filled with uncertainty. The gates of Lowood were opened by a woman holding a lantern. She led me through a courtyard and into a large, bare hall. There I was handed over to another woman, tall, gaunt, and silent, who told me to follow her. We climbed some narrow stairs, entered a long dormitory where rows of beds stood neatly made, and she pointed to one. "Undress and get in," she said shortly. I did as I was told, shivering in my thin clothes. No one spoke to me, and I felt utterly alone. The room was dimly lit by a single candle, and the other girls were already in bed, some asleep, others staring at the ceiling. That night I lay awake for hours, listening to the wind howl outside the windows and wondering what the days ahead would bring.